And we're live. All
It's
right, here goes.
alive!
It's alive. All right, ready? Go. Performance on demand podcast number 42 is
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Performance on Demand podcast with Craig and Jeremy, where you will learn all things endurance sports from training and nutrition to mental strength. Everything you need and want to know in one place.
Welcome everyone to Performance on Demand podcast. I am your host, Craig Willard. What was that?
Lemonhead candy canes.
That's what you need, lemon heads.
Yeah, this is a pretty legit
That is quite a legitimate Christmas gift. That guy on the other side over there, Jeremy Brown,
me, this guy,
Jay Brown, JB.
Hey, Bizzle.
Here we are on Google Hangouts again. You can check us out over there on YouTube. But welcome everyone, Performance on Demand podcast.
What's up?
What's up?
Oh man.
Man, I don't know what you need to take to the next level. That's just what you need to do. Good God.
I've been trying.
Don't try me. You know I don't like that word.
No, you're right, and that's what we were talking about. We want to chat about today is what is the next level.
What?
I push and I push. I ride and I ride.
Oh yeah.
You gotta push it. Push it.
I'm pretty sure now that you played that music that YouTube is now going to
shut us down.
They will mute our podcast. They did it to my spin class last night. They muted it because
I saw that.
It's the second one, but I played the exact same track as last time. They didn't pop it. So now I've got a spin class of me talking and coaching virtually,
but
no one can hear.
No one can hear. Well, hey, speaking of that, I saw someone that I wasn't familiar with that was on your podcast. I think that added to one of the a club group about getting on your spin class or something. I didn't know who they were, but your spin apparently is pretty good. I'm hearing all kinds of rave comments about it.
It's getting around. People are enjoying it. Last night was very much a strength session. A lot of people were probably a little noodle-legged when they got off, but
that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, this time of year, obviously, as I sit here, it's like 80 degrees outside right now, so it's ridiculously nice. But this is the time of year where we spend a lot of time on the trainer trying to lay that foundation for next year. And what the hell? Ooh, there's a dolphin.
Yeah.
There's a dolphin swimming on the screen for those listeners. You should really check out our YouTube. Anyway, so it's nice to have a break in the monotony of the trainer, and by doing that, you're on the trainer, but you're on the trainer with friends, and so we enjoy it. It's every Wednesday night at 6 Central.
And how do they get hold of you? How do they get into this?
On Moderate Multisports Facebook page, we'll create an event, and you just click yes, I'm going,
and go.
Yep, and the Hangout link will be posted the day of, and you just log in, hop on your trainer, and have some fun.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. One night you're going to have to get on there on your rollers and join us.
Yeah.
All right, see what I did there?
Yeah, I'll do that. I do love the roller. I think it's the coolest thing ever. And I think Nick, I saw a Facebook post of him doing that. I was like, that's awesome. If you've never used a roller,
they're tough. They're fun.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's tough. It is tough. Your whole body is staying. When you're on a trainer, you don't have to worry about that balance. But on that you do, and you only have about 18 inches to ride on, so you actually learn to ride pretty smooth and pretty, you're not all over the road. So it's great stuff. So now we've had some really cool podcasts here lately, and I know we have we've had a really
hang on. We always have cool podcasts.
We do.
Not just lately, Greg. We're on number 40 whatever.
It's crazy that we've actually done this many podcasts.
To think about it, it's like, holy shit, we have that much stuff to talk about, and we do. We're passionate about what we discuss, so it's worked out.
Yeah. So our last guest was really good, really neat person. She's a kick-ass girl, and then in a few more episodes we have a really, really special guest, which I'm not going to break the seal on that one just yet, but anyway, it's great stuff. So today we're going to talk about getting to the next level with having that next level mindset. And what are your thoughts, Jeremy, when it comes to next level mindsets, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, I think in order to accurately discuss this, we need to talk about what is the next level. Because for some people, the next level is finishing that first 5K.
Sure.
Or going faster on their next 5K. For some people, it is qualifying for their elite card.
Right.
For some people, it's finishing their first marathon. For others, it's getting a promotion at work. So the next level is very individualized, I believe. But the common trait with no matter what you're doing is the mindset to get there. And I had a conversation with Mark Potter the other day, and we were talking. He played for the Raiders professionally, football league, NFL. His uncle, actually, I found his uncle's a Hall of Famer, and he was talking. He got to hang out with his uncle a couple weeks ago. His uncle's in town, and he coaches defensive backs and receivers and stuff now. And we were talking, and he said, I didn't know what it really meant to be a professional. Like, we're talking NFL. And he said, when you get to that level, there's like 0.001% actually make it to the NFL or some crazy number. And then of that, like 300 have ever made it to the Hall of Fame, right? And so he got to spend time with this Hall of Famer who basically is the best of the best of the best. And he said, the thing is when you're talking to people like that, oftentimes they come off with kind of a conceited, kind of an asshole image, but they truly believe they are that good. And it's not always from a I'm better than you aspect. It's a true belief in oneself. And you don't get to the next level by thinking, yeah, I could be okay at that, right? You don't get to, whether it's the promotion at work, whether it's PR in your next 5K or nailing the next swim set, you don't get to that accomplishment level without, A, knowing what it is. So in goal setting, you identify what it is, but B, believing that it's possible. And so I think part of that, I hope I kind of identified what the next level is, because I don't want people to come off thinking, oh, they're only talking about people who want to go pro.
Right.
That's not next level. I mean, that is next level for some people.
Well, 10K is right. 10K may be a next level for a 5K, or the full may be the next level for a half. A sprint may go to Olympic. Olympic may want to go to a half, whatever it may be. The next level is just really, if I think about it, something simple, it's the next step on the stairs.
Yeah.
As you're wanting to get to your ultimate goal, which might be the next floor, what's the next step for you to continue to progress towards that ultimate goal, which, at the end may be a full Ironman. I'm not sure, it is very subjective per person.
Yep. And I think that to get there, you have to identify that. To identify that, you have to understand proper goal setting and the process that goes in place to get there. And we've talked about that in another podcast. And I think that is a crucial aspect. But the other component to that is the mentality and the mindset of I can get there. It doesn't matter what that goal is, it's that I can get there. And, one thing, and this is something that Mark said the other day that really stuck with me. He said, one thing is if you take CEOs of top companies, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, all these people, and you give them the athletic prowess of a LeBron James, they will be LeBron James, right? It's just they don't have that athletic talent and ability, but they have that same drive, that same commitment, that same work ethic, that same tenacity. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They possess that. I don't even know if it's a real word. I remember my mom using the word gumption, and that's basically like really getting after, really going hard for something. They all possess that. And again, it doesn't matter what your next goal is. It's, do you have that fire? And one thing I always think of is a good friend of mine, Chris McDonald, has the word tenacity tattooed on his arm. And when I saw it, I was like, what the hell? But then I caught myself thinking about it. I was like, man, that's a reminder to always be aggressive in pursuit of your goals and dreams. Always be moving forward and thinking. I think part of that plays into what that next level mindset is.
I agree. Totally agree. I think the key to the goal setting, though, is to not just say, I want to do an Ironman. You have to have, there's so much work that is taken in to prepare yourself for that situation. You have to put forth effort. And in order to be able to put forth effort for a duration of time, you have to know why you're doing it. And, that goes back to, not only is it setting a goal, but what is the reason behind the goal that's going to keep you motivated when you want to sleep in on that Saturday, but you have a long ride, or it's raining outside and you're going to get on the treadmill and you don't really want to run on the treadmill, but you have to run today. And
Right.
so, what is it that's behind that why that's going to continue to excel you forward and push you to your next level? Because I don't think you can I don't think you can actually reach your goal of a next level accomplishment if you don't have a reason for doing it.
That's it. That's really good. That is a great way to put it, because I didn't think to discuss that part, and that's really truly, you're right. If you don't have the right driving force in place, you're not going to drive anywhere, right?
Right.
You're gonna stay where you're at, and you're going to keep staring up there, thinking, "Oh man, it's up there. I wish I could get to there." You're never going to believe you can get there because you don't have the right driving metrics in place.
Right. Well, it's like driving your car, right? You're not going to just get in your car. Now, there's a purpose behind getting in your car and driving out the country lanes or whatever to just think or have some time alone. But you're not going to naturally just get in your car and drive to Walmart if you don't have a reason to get to Walmart.
Oh my God, Walmart this time of year is
it's great.
suicidal if you're going to Walmart this time of year.
But that's the point is that if you want to do something, you'll find a way to get there. But if you don't really have a want to do it, or if the next level for your coach might be that he wants you to do the next thing, the next next longest course. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't matter.
Yep, that's absolutely absolutely right. And I think with that next level mindset comes confidence. I've seen athletes that come into the sport, they do it because they like running, or they got injured, so they cross train, they get into the sport. But as they grow and as they achieve this air quotes success, or this feeling of doing something awesome, and they get to a certain point and they meet a certain goal, they start to slowly build that confidence. And you can look at athletes and tell just who's kind of got that. I think the word nowadays that the kids are using is swagger. Who's kind of got that? What's that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
They've kind of got that little, it's not cockiness, it's confidence. And it's really cool from a coaching perspective to watch people morph and blossom into a person who is confident, and it's a natural, genuine confidence in their self and their ability. That's when they start to gain that next step that
Right.
leads to that next floor. And it's so cool as a coach to watch that progression happen, and for them to develop that next level mindset that it's almost like every bite they take, it makes them a little bit more hungry for that next bite.
Right.
Constant driving force.
Champion mindset. Champion.
Yes. Champions. Yes.
And you can be a champion every single day. It's not really based upon the fact. It's more of how you act and respond to adversity than it is about being a podium winner, or being the top 5 in your age group, or even going to Kona, because there's champions all over the world all day long, every day. And it's that mindset of pushing forward every single day to get the best out of your body, giving 100%, knowing why you're doing it, and reflecting on occasion to ensure that you kind of you get where you've been, and where you know the path you've taken, because a lot of times people feel that when they're in that I'm in the moment mindset, which is a great mindset to have, and it's the best mindset for performance wise, but it's also great, as we've talked about on multiple podcasts, is to look back on the past and do some reflection. What are you able to do? Well, this is what I've done, so I know that I can reach the next level. And I think we've talked about this before too. There's this big difference, especially when people they don't know what the next level is for them. Maybe they've done a full Ironman and they want to go faster. Maybe that's the next level. But in doing that, it's understanding that I can do it, and how can I do it? Let's look back a year ago at where I was, or looks back 2 years ago, and let's affirm that I have done the biggest things in my life that I never thought I could ever do. And 10 years ago, you would have never thought you're doing exactly what it is you're doing today. And if your mind is not prepared for the next level, I assure you, you'll not make it. You will not.
So true. And that kind of, to an extent, goes back to when we talked about fearing being successful.
Yes.
I think that kind of plays in there a little bit. Is if you're not prepared for what you receive when you put in the work and you get to that next level, it's going to be a shock. Yep. And there are, we'll talk on the professional side, because it's a stark contrast. is when somebody goes and let's just take Matt Hansen, for example. Matt was a talented runner, collegiate wrestler, so on and so forth. He wins Chattanooga. Okay, cool. Great job. Ironman champion, obviously talented. And he was still teaching college at that point in time and all this stuff. And then he goes and turns around about 7, 8 months later and wins the North American Championship Ironman Texas.
Yep.
All of a sudden, bam, it changed. And that's because now people start to know his name. He ends up quitting his job because he's going to pursue, triathlon full time, quitting his teaching job. And so, but he was mentally prepared for that level of achievement. When he got to the next level, he knew what he was going to do when he got there. And a lot of times, a big mistake we make is not being prepared for once we get to that next level. You get there and you're like, well, shit, I'm here and the view's great, but what now? Where do I go now? And that's where a lot of times people will fall out of the sport. And it'll be the sport triathlon. I think I've said it before, the average life expectancy, and I'm using air quotes on that one, is just right at 4 years. So an athlete comes in, they do a sprint, they get hooked, they train, they build up, they do an Ironman, gone. Now they're CrossFitting or they're skiing or they're doing other things. And it's because they didn't have a plan after that Ironman. This is a lifestyle sport. And they didn't have a plan. Once they hit that kind of pie in the sky goal, I'm going to do an Ironman in 4 years or 3 years, they get there.
Right.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Where the hell do I go?
Right. Well, even Matt Hansen, if I remember correctly, when I had a conversation with him, I think he said he'd only been, 5 years into this, really 4 or 5 years into this. And he's just, he's excelled at such a high level. I think that's, it's quite an accomplishment, but it also says, hey, you can do these things too, but you have to put forth a ton of effort and you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you've been. You got to have the mindset. You got to have the belief that you can do it. And then you also, as you said, and we just basically wrapped all these things up. You have to have that belief in your mind that once you get there, you already know what's going to happen next, so that there's this smooth transition of sorts.
Right.
It's kind of like, when you're flying a plane, you got to be able to come down, land, the plane's going to come back off again. It's going to take back off and go on. If you don't, then you just sit and people will get stagnant because they don't have the next step in mind. And I think that's something that I've learned about triathletes is make sure you have planned for what's going to happen when you get there. Because, as the last podcast we talked about it, I kind of think of it as a bubble. It's a bubble pop. It's all these things are going, and all of a sudden everything just comes together and boom, you're going to have this large amount of success potentially. And when you do, how you handle it is going to completely adjust the course for how you move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I was just making a note, because as you were talking, one thing I learned from someone that's in a completely different sport, but it's if you want to get to a level, part of the way to get your mind there and prepared for it is to carry yourself like you're already at that level. Yep. So present yourself like you're there already. Everything else falls into place. I think that, to me, that is a solid way to mentally be prepared and to mentally carry yourself to that next level. Carry yourself, act like, talk like, present yourself like you're already there.
Yeah, and that's the same for life too. If you want to be, if you want to take if you want a promotion, if you want the next role, look at that role and what is it? Present yourself in a way that would smoothly transition you into it. If you're, if you're in one position and everyone wears khakis, for example, and the director of a department that you want to be in wears nice, they always wear a shirt and tie. If that's what you want to be,
dress for success.
Dress for success and act like it too, as you said. And that's what is act like it? It's your behaviors.
Yep.
It's how you speak to people. It's your, it's the beliefs that you verbalize. Those things need to be in alignment with the success in which you want. And only person that can really define that is you.
Well, and to go with that too, and this is something we worked with several athletes on, which you kind of coined it, and it's demand the impossible.
Yep.
That's when you want to get to the next level, you can't be doing ordinary shit. To do extraordinary stuff, you can't do ordinary shit, period.
Right.
And so that goes with the mindset of thinking like you're already there and carrying yourself like you're already there. You want to, like you were saying, execute the actions of someone that's already there. And the thing is that again, it doesn't matter if you're just trying to complete your first 5K. We're not talking an elitist group here. We're talking about anybody that wants more than what they currently have.
Right.
It doesn't matter what that is. Could be money, could be a relationship, could be, athletic gifts. You want to be a better swimmer? Guess what? Swim more, but you have to prepare yourself. And I personally believe that it's more 75-25. Mentally prepare yourself. 75% is 75% of the ability to get to the next level. The 25% is the work ethic and the grind and putting it in there. I think that's if I had to break it up.
I agree with that. Another thing that we really haven't talked, well, I guess we've talked about it some in the past, but if you want to get to the next level and you don't have a coach, that's going to be one of the big keys to that, because there are things that you don't recognize about you that can be adjusted. For example, you want to swim, or you want to be good at swimming, you're going to swim more. But if you're not swimming efficiently, it might drag you away from the sport because it seems so hard, versus learn how to swim properly. You start swimming faster, and all of a sudden you got this to you, this motivation, this desire to want to go because you swim so easily. If you're going from a couch to 5K, that's a whole nother world. And a lot of times people say, well, I just don't know how to do it. Well, what do 5K people do? They run. So get up and go run. Go down the street, go run to the next block, run to the next fence post, run to the next whatever, and then walk until you're got your breath, then run again, and then continue. Next thing you know, you can do that. But go ahead and grab a coach too. It's just something that I've experienced personally, the growth and development that people get from coaching. It's phenomenal.
Jess mentioned it in our last podcast too, is that with any measure of consistency, an athlete's going to get better. So when you get into the sport and you get going, you're going to naturally get better. But you're going to get to a point to where you're doing kind of the same old workouts, same old groups. Shake it up. That's when the coach comes in. So I'm not saying, I think from day one to set a solid, firm foundation, yes, you need a coach. For some people, they don't believe they do, and they can get themselves to a certain level.
Sure.
But to get to that next level, I would dare to say upwards 80-85% of athletes need to have a coach. They need to have some direction, some guidance, someone that sees the next level, understands what it takes to get from point A to point B, and can then, and most importantly, put together the pieces, the stair steps that you need to get to that next level.
Here's something that many athletes that listen to this may have experienced, and I think it's really, really important to pinpoint this, and that is, if you do not have an athlete and you work for a period of time on your own, and let's just say you get fast. If you hire a coach, there is the potential that your coach says, hey, you're right, you're fast. But in order for you to go faster, we're going to pull you back a little bit. We're going to change it up.
Every one of my athletes is going to smile right now.
We're going to pull you back. We're going to slow you down. What do you mean slow me down? We need to slow you down. Let's get the process work in place, and then I'm going to let the gate open, and I'm going to let you out. And people, it's a struggle. So what happens is we create habits from coaching ourselves and not ensuring that we are being as efficient as possible. We run fast, but we do it spending a ton of energy. And so a coach would have to decelerate you, have you rebuild your process work, and then let you go. And that restriction sometimes just is a real, I'll let you explain that from an athlete's perspective. It's a real struggle, and it's really hard to communicate that you want them to slow down because they don't understand. They think they're actually going to lose a bunch of stuff from it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because right now there's a time of year to where people, athletes that I have that aren't doing, some crazy marathons over the winter, I've basically kicked them off the bus. Like, hey, just chill out for a few weeks. And after 2 weeks, they're chomping at the bit. Man, I'm ready to go. Let's go. I'm ready.
Right.
And so they have that fire again. They have that desire. But, early last year, I started working with an athlete who's a very talented athlete and really good runner, but aerobic fitness sucked. Point blank period. No other way to sugarcoat it. Her aerobic base sucked. And so I told her, I said, I get that you're running, 7:30s. I get that. That's good. Right. I need you to be running 10s for this, whatever. And I put my protocol in place. And literally once a month, we had a come to Jesus meeting. It's a just do it. I know, trust me. You have to trust me on this. Just do it. And what happens goes through the year. One of the biggest advocates for my protocol, my process right this second is her. I've got another athlete, same thing. You create this, all of a sudden, this athlete, and it's not some sparkling, magical, Kona qualification. It's holy shit. I was injured first 2 years of my triathlon career. I got a coach. We slowed way down. We put the process work in place. I haven't been injured in a year and a half since I've been working with him. That's a big freaking deal for an athlete. And so now that athlete has their eye on the next level because they know they can get there. They've seen the progress we've made in the past year and a half. They know they can get there, even at the current rate, at the current trending rate of gains. They know they can get there. And so now we've put that next level mindset there. But it is an ass kicking. And as a coach, it's tough because you have to tell the athletes, look, I know what the hell I'm doing. I've got proven results. You told me what you wanted to do. If you really mean you want whatever you say you want as bad as you say you want it, you'll trust me.
Yeah.
And that's tough. Even as an athlete myself, it's tough. It's really, really tough, but it's worth it. And that's that next level mindset. It's not having a fear of losing something. It's saying, hey, all right, I'm all in. Let's do it. Because you can't half commit to that process.
I agree. If you don't trust the process, if you don't trust your coach, the next level is going to always be 2 to 3 to 4 inches out of your reach. You're just not going to get there. And of course, as we're both coaches, it's not about whether you come to us. It's about ensuring that you don't keep yourself from an opportunity at some point. There are plenty of people that listen to this that coach themselves, and they're great. And I'm not down that whatsoever. There's just a different opportunity when you come to coaching that self-coaching doesn't do. For example, as a coach, as a mental coach, I need my own mental coach because I miss things, and I have to be smart enough.
You're human,
right? I'm human, and that introspection of sorts. To say, hey, Craig, you have weaknesses that could be a huge opportunity for you, but right now they're a weakness because you don't see them. So with exception, with acknowledgement becomes opportunity. A weakness is a weakness because you don't see it. But then all of a sudden you recognize it, and now you can use that tool to progress. Now it's opportunity.
And I will throw something out there as we're talking. You don't like the word try. There's several words you don't like.
Yeah.
And
it's a really funny word considering triathletes, but
I think that an athlete that does not expect to make it to the next level uses soft, I'll call them chicken shit words like that. Mm-hmm. I think an athlete that may be afraid of getting to the next level or is letting their past experiences hold them back use very soft, insecure words like that. I say insecure, it's not really insecure, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And I think that if that athlete can find those words, find a way to turn those into positive, actionable words, they start that process of thinking about getting to the next level. For instance, go ahead. I see you got a point.
No. Well, I was just going to say, because you hit on it earlier, but we didn't really go down the complete path. You said earlier you must present yourself, right? You must present yourself for success, dress for success, and that encomes the verbalization of the words in which you use that you subconsciously use. You have no knowledge of what you're saying and what it means, and so part of getting to the next level is understanding your verbalized words. You can think them all day long, and yes, they're up in your mind. But as soon as you verbalize them, they become real. And when they become real, it's a whole nother ball game because your mind is always listening to what you say, and it wants to affirm and to assure you that you do what you verbalize. And so if you say try means if I do it, good. If I don't, it's okay.
I expected it.
Right. Or I can't. Words of someone that wants to go to the next level should not ever have try. It should not ever have can't, won't, impossible, unlikely. They should always be progressing forward, positive, and extremely actionable statements and not
Well,
just words.
And I've noticed that if you're looking at just personalities, the pessimist is the one that always says, try, could. They're always the one in question of things, even after have experienced success. The optimist is the one that says, yeah, I can. Now,
Well-
whether they go and fall short of whatever that is, they still say, I can, I will. They have those words in place, and eventually it's going to stick. But that's like having an athlete that PRs the 5K, 10K, and half all over top of bridges, and is prepping for a marathon. And this athlete knows exactly who I'm talking about, and tells me they want to go sub 20 for a 5K. And when I tell them in the spring, and when I tell them they can, I have no doubt about that. The reply is, yeah, I'd like to try. No, the reply should be, I'm going to fucking smoke that 5K.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're telling me you've never ran faster than a 6:30 per mile in the 5K, yet your threshold right now is like a 6:35. So in theory, you could run a 10K at that effort, but you're telling me that you're going to try to do it now. And so, but that comes from someone that's always thinking, always processing, always kind of questioning things. Even if they know the answer, they're always looking for more. They're always looking at all different angles of it. And so that's the type of athlete that you try to instill that next level mindset. It's the true belief that I can do that. It's not on a good day I could, if the course conditions are right, if the weather's right. No, bullshit. I can do that, period.
Yep.
And for me, sometimes that can be frustrating for a coach, is because, as well as I know, we see what athletes don't see most of the time. We want what the athlete wants, and we see they can get it. It's convincing them that they do possess that power to go and reach out there and grab whatever it is that they're after.
Well, the one thing that no one can take from you is your effort.
Ooh. Yep.
You can if you put forth the effort, good things will come. If you talk about specific times, well, that varies because weather, wind, transition situations, whatever it may be, but there's always going to be some sort of situation that you may come across that keeps you from a time. But if you give it all you have, you've left it all out there. That's the best thing you can do. Now, I wanted to back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
When we were talking just a few minutes ago, there are people that will say, "Well, I just don't think I can do that." And part of that comes, if I were to say successful failure, I don't like using the failure piece, but it's kind of funny how this goes. As I said earlier, you will ensure that you do whatever is kind of that you say.
Absolutely. So, if you think you can, you can.
So there's nothing more empowering for that individual to say, I can't do it. And they can't. And they go, see, I told you I couldn't do it. I told you they couldn't do it. So it's almost like they're prepping themselves to ensure that they do not succeed so that they can validate that belief to themselves. Yep, told you.
See, I was right.
I was right. I told you that was going to be too hard for me.
It's almost like a fail-safe.
It is. Well, it's like a governor of sorts. I'm going to limit myself because I will fail if I don't. I want
to set the bar right here. That's what I would say. I will set the bar right here so I can step over it.
Right. Yeah.
If I set the bar up here,
I want to put it on the floor.
Yeah. If I set the bar up here, I may take my head off going under it. And I always make the joke about relationships that if I knew what I know now, I would start off by setting that bar down at the ground level. But most of the time in relationships, and Craig's nodding and probably about to smile because we set the bar up here. And then after a while, it's like, holy fuck, how did I do that? That's way up there, right? So it takes a certain level of effort. And that's what people do is they'll set that bar so low that no matter what, they can trip over it and still get through it,
Yeah. So the key to that is taking it to the next level, as we talked about in many podcasts, failure. Failure doesn't exist. That success that you're wanting, it's in standby. It's just waiting on you to achieve it. You put it off for 5 years, you can put it off for 10 years. You may not ever get it's there. You may not get another opportunity to do it because you put other things in its way, but that opportunity is available for you to obtain. And there's nothing stopping you except your level of effort. And if you want to do if you want to get to the next level, to the next ring, to the next block, the only way to do that is to put forth the effort as if that's what you want to do. If you put forth the effort that's necessary to get there, you'll get there. If you put forth the effort that was needed to get where you're at right now, that's where you're going to stay. It has to be if you want up, you got to push up. You got to get to a different level of focus and effort and confidence. It's going to take everything. And that's, I think too, that's part of coaching for you. That's what that does. And they should, now, not every coach has the mental perspective in their repertoire to help tool out, but be cognizant of what you say, because you will create the power of the word. The power of the word is so strong. And I can't remember if I've actually mentioned this before. This is a bit personal, but I remember many, many years ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my mom gave me a call I was at the office, and she called me, and she told me she had breast cancer and she's in tears. And I say, okay. And I'm listening. And so I say, well, was the doctor say we can handle this? We can fix this? She goes, yes, the doctor says they can do this. I said, okay. So basically we know where the finish line is. We know that there is a finish line. We just have to work together to get there. And she was like, yeah. And so of course she's in tears. And I go, okay. At this point, I have not verbalized it yet. And I go, okay, we're going to be good. No problem. And so anyway, I talked to her for however long. I hang up the phone. I go around the corner and I talk to my coworker, and I say, I just found out my mom has breast cancer. And as soon as I verbalized it, the tears, I just became so overwhelmed, because as soon as you verbalize it, it becomes
to life.
It does. It comes to life. And so you have to speak to yourself you have to be kind to yourself. That self-talk, your self-talk is your thought, is your focus. And so your self-talk better be positive, or the next level is going to be impossible.
That's solid. I think that's a solid note right there to bring it to a close, because that one small piece of advice, I think, no matter all the other stuff we said in this 30, 40 minutes, whatever, is if you say it, you can achieve it.
You can.
If you will say, have the balls to put it out there and to say it, it's yours. You just have to put the process in place to get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the goal is.
Well, I mean, look, you're the last person we were talking to, Jessica. She worked with a blind triathlete. I mean, so it doesn't matter if you're blind, you can't use your lower extremities. There's always a way to accomplish a goal that you want. The only excuse is the one that you provide yourself, and the only person that creates that excuse is you.
The question
which is great, because that means you can control that.
Right. And the question is just how bad do you want it?
Right.
And that kind of goes back to goal setting.
Yeah.
We can make these goals, and we won't get into it. We can make all these goals, but if that goal really isn't what we want the most, it's going to be tough to get there.
Yeah.
And not having a goal, not having a next level vision or appreciation for the work it takes to get there, I think is puts you behind the eight ball to start off with. So proper goal planning, the true belief in yourself, carrying yourself like you are already there, and appreciation for the sacrifice it's going to take to get there.
Yep.
If I had to pinpoint some things, I think that I think those are probably the top four of steps you would take to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a mental, you can do all kinds of things with your body. And we've talked about this too. I know we will wrap this up. You can do all kinds of things with your body, and you can be the biggest, strongest, fastest, whatever it is. But if you don't take care of this here, there's a big deal. Here's a funny thing. So 2%, your body weight, 2% of your body weight is your brain, just 2%, but it requires 65% of your blood. Did you know that?
Oh shit! No, I didn't know that.
65% of your blood is designated for your brain. So, in thinking about that, what is very important piece of your body that people don't think about? The brain.
People don't think about the thing that thinks.
Conscious mind and the unconscious parts are what's going to predict. It's what's going to get you where you want to go. Because if you have that negative mindset, just let's have a talk, because there are bigger, better things for you, and I know that we can get you to them. That's just what we do. So anyway, what else? Got anything else you want to talk about?
No, that was solid. I mean, that's one of those things that I unfortunately have seen so many talented athletes that fall just short because of that, not having that next level mindset, not having an appreciation for what it takes to get there and appreciation for what it's like to be there. I think I've seen, and it's sad to watch people just come up short. You know, it really is, because they have so much more to give, but they don't either believe they can get there or don't have the desire to sacrifice what it takes to get there.
Well, let's wrap this up with one Mark Miller response to this. And I remember we had Mark Miller on several podcasts ago. Patience.
Yes.
Because he has I don't remember how many he has done, but he has went so long injury free because he took his time.
Yeah.
You know, he recovered.
He's been in the sport almost 20 years.
Yeah. He took his time. He recovered when he needed to recover. He worked hard when he needed to work hard, but he was patient with the process and allowed it to run its course versus force it. If you force feed process, something else is going to give.
Yep.
You have to let it run its course.
Yep. Very true.
All right, man. That's pretty good. That wrapped it up. If you want to get a hold of Jeremy over there, Performance on, actually, jack that all up. If you want to get a hold of us, over here, Performance On Demand Podcast at gmail.com. If you'd love to get on the show, have comments, questions. If you don't like it, if you want different topics, if you want a topic, period, let us know. We'd love to cover it. If
do
you
it anonymously.
Anonymously, yeah, we'll either, you can say, credit me or not credit me. I don't care. We don't have a problem with that whatsoever. If you want to get a hold of Jeremy over there, Yawning Jeremy, over there at mindrightmultisport.com, you can also get a hold of me at u-discover.com. You can find us both, as well as this podcast, on the Facebook.
On the Twitter.
On the Twitter. Everyone, thank you. Have a great night. Take care.
Later.